Did we just find our future QB for the BYU Cougars in the upcoming years? So, I think it was yesterday that he committed, but for some reason, 5-star QB Ryder Lyons from California has decided to commit to the BYU Cougars from the class of 2026. But here's the caveat. He'll be serving a 1-year mission before he is actually going to play. So he'll only play his first season in 2027. Which, if you're talking about perspective, that's not very far off from where we are right now. I'm excited to see what he could bring to the table for the Cougars, man. All about the why, baby. Let's hope this upcoming season will be a great year for the Cougars athletics. But let's travel from the west to the east for this video. Welcome back to Grizzly Talks Football. I am the Grizz. Ladies and gentlemen, we got NFC East schedule predictions, standing predictions, however you want to say it. We did NFC South standing predictions in the last episode. Make sure you check that out as well with the series playlist in the description for Season 2, along with all the other episodes that were already uploaded so that you guys can catch up. You also have that playlist for future episodes in the link in the description. Also, do not forget to hit that red subscribe button, hit the notification bell, so you don't miss a single one of my videos. Without further delay, NFC East 2025 standing predictions. Let's do it. We're going to do the same thing that we did last time. We start with alphabetical order by city. So first up, the Dallas Cowgirls, otherwise known as them boys. I gotta say, looking at their schedule, it's actually very interesting. So they start with Thursday Night Football, the first game of the season, going against the Super Bowl champ Philadelphia Eagles as they hang their Super Bowl banner right in front of Dallas, as far as the Cowboys and their fans. Then they go back to Dallas to play the New York Giants after a mini-bye? Oh, because of the Thursday Night Football thing. Yeah, I get it. Then they go back on the road to play the Bears in Chicago. Then they go back home to play the Packers. Back on the road to not only play the Jets, but also the Carolina Panthers. Then they go back home to play Washington. Back on the road to play the Broncos. And back home to Arizona. Very alternative season here to start the year. Then after their bye week on week 10, then they go back on the road to Vegas to play the Raiders. Then they go back home to play the Eagles and Chiefs. Then they go back on the road to play Detroit. Then go back home to play the Vikings and Chargers. Back on the road for the final 2 games against the Commanders and Giants. Very weird situation. Going on the road, going back home. Going on the road, going back home. Like, come on, NFL, be consistent with Dallas. Anyways, as far as this season goes, to start the season, I think Dallas is going to lose their first game against Philadelphia. At home against the Giants on their mini-bye, I think they should win that one. Chicago against Dallas. This is a tough one. But I do think Caleb Williams is definitely much improved in his second season, and he'll be able to beat Dallas in there. Dallas against Green Bay. Green Bay still owns them. Against the Jets, I think Dallas will get an easy road win. Back-to-back road win, should I say, against the Jets and Panthers. Then in Week 7, against the Washington Commanders, I think they'll get a win at home. And then against the Broncos, I think Denver is going to beat Dallas in Mile High. And then Dallas goes back home to Arizona. Unfortunately, Arizona just doesn't have enough to be able to compete. Then coming off their bye, as they are, let me check. Just real quick, they would be 5-3 or 5-4, excuse me. So they'll be like right around the middle, heading into their bye. But this is where things start to get ugly. This is where the unnecessary losses and the bad losing streaks happen. Upset loss against the Raiders. Loss on home against the Eagles and Chiefs. Lose to Detroit. Lose to the Vikings, but beat the Chargers. Lose to the Commanders, and shockingly, they actually go on the road to the Giants and beat them. Yes, everybody, I expected Dallas to go 7-10. Again, especially with all that talent because of the head coach primarily. Jerry, you hired the wrong man for the job. Schottenheimer is not a true head coach whatsoever, and that will get proven when this season starts. Up next, moving on, we got Russell Wilson, Brian Daboll, and the New York Football Giants. Good hell, New York! What in the world is this story? You got road games against Washington and Dallas, home games against the Chiefs and Chargers, a nice away game against New Orleans, but I expect y'all to lose that one. Sorry. Then you play the Eagles at home, then go on the road to play the Broncos, then you go back up the road to play the Eagles again, and then a home game against San Francisco. Then you go back on the road to play Chicago, go back home to play Green Bay, then go back on the road to play not only Detroit but also New England. Then you go on your bye, and then you play home games against the Commanders and Vikings. Then you go back on the road to play the Raiders, and then you get a home game against Dallas. Jeez, what an ugly schedule for New York. Giants fans, brace yourselves because this is going to get ugly. Washington does beat you in your opener. Then you play Dallas on the road as well, lose to them as well. Chiefs will beat you. Chargers will beat you. Saints will unexplainably beat you. Eagles will beat you both times. Broncos will beat you at home. And then against the 49ers, I could see y'all pulling an upset there. So going into this week 10, they have a record of an unexplainable 1-8. At this point, it feels like Daboll might get fired mid-season. And then the second half of the season starts. Chicago wins at home. Packers win. Detroit wins. Patriots win. Giants actually get an upset win against the Commanders. Vikings win on the road. Raiders win at home. And then you lose to Dallas to end the year on a 3-game losing streak. Maybe the Giants have some upsets in them, but overall, they're going to go 2-15 with this hard-ass schedule. If they didn't have this hard of a schedule, they would actually win like 6 or 7 games, but this schedule is from literal hell. Daboll's going to get fired, and it's not even going to be his fault. It's the NFL because they're screwing him with that bullshit schedule. Up next is defending Super Bowl champions, the Philadelphia Eagles. So obviously week 1, Thursday Night Football, they play a home game against Dallas where they get to hang their Super Bowl Raptor in front of everybody in Philadelphia, including Cowboys fans and their players. Then they go back on the road in a Super Bowl rematch in week 2 against Kansas City. Then they go back home to play the Rams of LA. Then they go back on the road to play Tampa Bay. Then they go back home to play the Broncos. Then they go back on the road to play not only the Giants, but also the Vikings. Then they go back home to play the Giants again. Then they go to their bye week. Is this Dallas' schedule or is this Philadelphia's schedule because of this alternating bullshit again? Then after your bye, you got a Monday Nighter against Green Bay and Lambeau. Then you go back home to play Detroit. Back on the road to play Dallas again. Go back home on a Friday night to play the Bears, or maybe it's a Thanksgiving thing, I don't know. Oh no, it's not, it's just a Friday night game. Then you go back on the road on Monday Night Football to play the Chargers, then go back home to play the Vegas Raiders, then you go back on the road on a Saturday night to play Washington, then stay on the road against the Bills, then go back home to play the Commanders again. I'm looking at the same two teams, Philadelphia and Dallas, having similar styles of schedules just against different opponents. I mean, same opponents, but at different times. So kicking things off, obviously I had Philadelphia beating Dallas at home to start the year, but then they lose to Kansas City on the rematch. I would say Philly beats the Rams again, then they lose to the Bucks to start 2-2. Then they sweep past the Broncos, they beat the Giants twice, and against the Vikings, I think the Vikings with J.J. McCarthy actually beat Philadelphia, so the record as it stands right now is 5-3 headed into the bye week. This is literally shades of last year. And then you play the Packers on Monday Night Football. I see Jordan Love gets his revenge on the Philadelphia Eagles on Monday night. Then you go back on Sunday Night Football. I think it's Sunday night. You play home against Detroit. You actually do get a win over them. Then you beat Dallas on the road. Then against Chicago, not quite good enough. But then you play the Chargers on Monday Night Football after the Friday night game. You lose to them. And then you beat the Raiders. Lose to the Commanders. Lose to the Bills. But then you actually win your final game against Washington at the end. I'll say Philly's a strong playoff team, but they're not as strong as they once were. I predict them to have a 10-7 record. I am assuming that Saquon Barkley will get injured at some point because of the bad cover curse. It's still a playoff team. Like, they got so many weapons, especially on defense. Offensively as well, you got one of the best offensive lines in the league. That's why they are able to do the tush push so well. One of the top 10 QBs of the league, and Jalen Hurts, Saquon. I gotta be honest, he might get a season-ending injury that could derail his career for the rest of the time. But the receiving core looks nice with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, also Dallas Goedert being a very top half tight end. It's just the Eagles are probably going to have a fall off ever since Darius Slay also left, but then you also got Derek Barnett leaving. It's time for the younger guys to step up and make some big plays. And the final team of the division, of course, is the Washington Commanders. Well, this one's a bit of alternating again. Home game against the Giants on their opener, then a Thursday night game against Green Bay in Lambeau, and they go back home to play the Raiders on Sunday night. On Sunday, then they play us in Atlanta on week 4. Then they go back on the road to play LA Chargers, back home to play the Bears, then on the road to Dallas and Kansas City. Then week 9 they play the Seahawks at home. And then week 10 they have a home game against Detroit, who they knocked out in the playoffs last postseason. Then they have a road game against the Miami Dolphins. Then they go on their bye. Then they play a home game against the Broncos, then go back on the road against the Vikings and Giants. They go back home to play the Eagles and Cowboys, then go back on the road to play the Eagles again. A little toughy this one, I gotta be honest with you. Okay, so for the first half, obviously I had the Giants winning the opener. Then against Green Bay on Thursday Night Football, I believe the Packers are actually going to win this game. So that'll be put them at 1-1 on the first 2 weeks. Then they play the Raiders at home. That's an easy win for them, honestly. It's just Raiders are just starting to become contenders, not exactly there yet. Then week 4, obviously they lose to my Falcons in the rematch between Jaden Daniels and Michael Penix. Then against the Chargers, I think they actually get a road win against them. Then against the Bears, they win that game. On the road to Dallas and Kansas City, I think both of those games are going to be losses. And then against Seattle, they'll actually win that game as well. So they will be 5-4 heading into week 10. Unlike the Eagles, though, let's see how this one goes. Against Detroit, I think Detroit gets their revenge, but Washington gets a road win to head into their bye week on a positive note. Then against the Broncos, I think they're a very strong team, but I think Commanders are just better. And then they go against the Vikings. Vikings are very high this season. I'll say they'll win that game at home. And then they play the Giants, which they lose that one. Then they win 2 straight home games against Philadelphia and Dallas that they lose to Philly in the game that determines the NFC East winner. So I see Washington just missing out on the division lead to the Eagles, who had 10 wins. I see Commanders actually having a little bit of a down here, but I see them going 9-8. This is not an easy schedule whatsoever. I think Jaden Daniels will have a very nice season, but this is just my opinion. Don't take it too personally. Maybe that year was just a fluke, and maybe Jaden Daniels might have a sophomore slump. Who knows? And that will do it for the NFC East standings predictions for 2025. And that will also do it for this episode of Grizzly Talks Football. Make sure you give this a big thumbs up if you enjoyed the episode. Oh my, there we go. Hit the red subscribe button somewhere down there. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single one of my videos. This is the Grizz signing off for now. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Peace!